Time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome to Coming In Hot. Brent Wallace alongside Jason York. Yorkie, I don't even know if we should just get right into it, but I feel like if you were to give a cross-check to anybody today, you would not get a penalty.
It's except if you're the Oilers and you get two marginal calls on you in a row for cross-checking. Oh, my God. Possibly the most inconsistently refed hockey game I've watched in some time. And I have no skin in the game. Like, I could care less who wins. But, oh, my God. The playoffs went from kind of letting everything go, calling stuff, and then, okay, no, we're not going to call anything anymore. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. For those who don't know what we're talking about, that cross-check at the end of the game that McDavid ate, oh, my God.
Both of them.
Oh, yeah, the one from the back. And
you get Zadora from the back.
Well, I'll tell you what. They say this all the time, right? Coaches take on the personality of their coach. I ate a lot of cross-checks from Rick Tocchet when I was playing. I'll tell you a quick story before we get going with the show. Rick Tocchet, one of the toughest, meanest competitors I've ever played against in my life. I remember once, actually 2 occasions, I had run-ins with Rick Tocchet, and I was like a puck-moving defenseman. But he doesn't care. I had stitches in my eye one game, and I had to wear a half visor because I didn't wear a visor. And Tocchet came down. It was a close game. I think he was playing in Philadelphia at the time. Anyhow, he takes a shot, and it was a great scoring chance, and I slid and I blocked it. On the way up, the puck came back to me, and I went down, and I blocked another one. He came by, took his stick, and tried to rip my stitches out of my head because he was so pissed off that I took away a scoring chance from him. And then, this guy was ruthless. I remember another time, too, he hit me on the forecheck real hard. Great hit him back. On the way up the ice, I gave him a little slash in the back of the legs. He then proceeded to chase me up the ice and try and get me to fight him. I'm like, I'm not fighting you. You're freaking crazy.
Yeah, that'd be the worst decision.
Yeah, it would have been a bad business decision. But that series, first of all, we'll get into it later. But Vancouver had no business winning that game. But my God, I don't like getting on the refs, but have a little feel for the game. Like, come on, you got one team that's getting badly outplayed, and you give 2 marginal cross-checking penalties in a row in a playoff where nothing's getting called.
Okay, so this wasn't even on the nerd report. However, I'm gonna a couple of things. One, the end of the game stuff can be reviewed. Like,
he's getting some for sure. He'll get a game for that.
That's gotta be something.
I don't think Zadorov gets one for the one in the low back, but I think Soucy's getting one for sure because you get it, like, it was a little bit reactionary, but still, if you cross-check somebody in the neck or face, you gotta get something, and it's the best player in the game.
I thought there should have been more guys jumping.
Actually, you know what? The best player in the game right now is Leon Draisaitl. Oh my God,
yes,
the guy's playing hurt. What a beast this guy is.
So if we move from that game, and by the way, listen, I tend to always be on the referee side for a number of reasons, but one,
tough
and
job.
I know people I don't think they're purposely out trying to screw a hockey team.
No, 100%. No.
But when you say marginal calls, I just think they're just trying to call exactly what they see at that moment and how they see it, not how, well, they've gotten 3, so we got to give them 1. I understand. There have been refs in the past that talk about managing the game. I get it. I just don't think they're trying to do it.
I 100%. I would never accuse an official of trying to do that or manage a game. It is the toughest game in the world to officiate. Just think about hockey, and just think about what hockey is. For example, it's the only sport where you're skating around at 20 to 30 miles an hour. You got a weapon in your hand. You got razor sharp blades. Like, there's so much shit that can go wrong in a hockey game, and refs have to catch everything. And also you got 2 guys with 2 different feelings of what to call, what not to call. You got the front ref, the back ref. But my point is, They're the best in the world. And you're the best in the world when you ref at this time of year. Just like the players. If you're not doing a great job, you got to be called out for it. That's why there's no different than the players, because the players get called out all the time, and so too should the refs if they don't do a good job.
A couple of things. Having gone to the Belleville game recently, so I just have a recent feel for AHL. If you want to see how good NHL officials are, go watch an AHL. And I don't disparagingly. It's just like players, they're on a whole different national hockey.
Yeah. Wally, did you ever ref before, by the way, when you were a kid?
Yeah, but yeah.
It's a thankless job. I refed for about 4 or 5 years when I was a kid. I was a teenager. I loved it. It was lots of fun, but it is so tough. And like I said,
it's a no-win situation. Nobody's happy.
Nobody's happy, but just like the NHL, it's really tough, and it's the best in the world at doing it. And even the best in the world make mistakes. I just thought last night it was a very poorly officiated game, and I really thought 2 of those calls that went to Vancouver turned around a game which was so lopsided. Anyhow, it's a long series. That hockey's been great to watch, but I'll tell you, just Tocchet has got those guys playing just how he played. They don't care if it's McDavid. How many cross checks did Draisaitl eat last night to the back? Because he's got the puck, he's protecting, he's just got wham, wham, wham. He's just taking a beating.
So we can flip to the other series, the Boston series, and go, does Charlie Coyle, should it have been a penalty on Sam Bennett for the cross check in the back? And then besides, we all like, the one thing I don't understand, and again, the game is so fast, and that's why it happens, is the Sam Bennett cross check to Brad Marchand's face, or sorry, the punch to Brad Marchand's face that doesn't get picked up.
That was sneaky, eh?
Right?
When you first
That's
see
how
it,
good these guys are. Yeah.
Oh God, I remember we were talking about Sam Bennett last year, about types of players that the Senators need to bring in moving forward. Those types of guys. Those guys are animals. Those are guys you win with. They'll scratch your eyes out. They'll punch you in the head. They'll throw you in front of. They'll do whatever it takes to win. They don't care. Unfortunately, with hockey, you need a lot of those guys to win in the playoffs.
So are you calling the cross check on Charlie Coyle or not? That leads to the goal.
Yeah, that was, I tell you the truth, I didn't think it was a vicious cross check. I think judging, again, it all depends on what night you're watching. One night it's a penalty, one night it's not a penalty. I didn't think it was egregious. Like, I didn't think it was terrible.
Right.
But I did, when I saw a couple people last night tweet out that a goal can be disallowed if a player is cross-checked onto the goaltender, I said, okay, well, that's pretty clear cut. It's kind of what happened. But then I'm thinking, okay, I understand also that Swayman wouldn't have been able to go back and make the save. He was already in a position. Right. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There was still an infraction on the play, which was you cross-checked, and he didn't have the puck. Like, Coyle didn't have the puck, so it's like back turned, pushed into the goalie. I thought the goal should have been overturned. I did.
I didn't. I thought it was somewhat of embellishment.
Really? Yeah.
I think if you're in that crease, Yorkie, and you're battling for a puck, you know something's coming. I just thought for him that Coyle went down way too easy. And if this is the playoffs, Yorkie, everybody's saying you got to let them play. You got to let them. And then suddenly he lets them play, and they're like, "Oh my God!"
Did you see that? It's an art form to know how to dive properly in the NHL. I don't think Charlie Coyle is about as honest of a player you can have. I just don't think, because you got to remember, things like that happen so quick, so fast. Coyle, I don't think in that position is even thinking about it. He's just back. He's trying to help, and he gets shoved off balance. So I don't think he did, but I don't know if you saw the play earlier in that game when Tkachuk got a little cross check from behind. Like, he dives better than anybody in the league because he's perfected it. He knows how to accidentally on purpose. It's just so good at it. Vander Kane last night took a cross check to the back. Same thing, went down. It's just, are you calling it or aren't you calling it? Draisaitl, like I said, got cross checked 100 times, but he just doesn't fall over because the guy's a moose on skates. You can't knock him over.
He's so
but
good.
anyways, oh God, I playoff Leon. I think is the best player in the game.
Is he? I'm gonna say Yarmir Yager, like a type
Good
player where
comparison. Yeah,
where
good
he's
comparison.
always like playing behind Mario Lemieux and whatever, and nobody like he doesn't get the attention, and then all suddenly he's third in the league in scoring and games played and all that stuff because of eventually how good he is. He's third, I believe, all time in the quickest to 90 points in playoff history. Like his numbers are just ridiculous. Now, does it turn into Stanley Cups? No, not yet. But I think they have a chance. Although I just don't like their goaltending. But
their goaltending's red rotten. My God, and you could see it. You could see it coming last night. Silvos or whatever his name is playing for Vancouver and just making save after save, 4 posts. I think I tweeted out, I go, sooner or later, Skinner's going to have to make a save. He's not going to make it. And then they get the power play. Not a great goal. I know the guy was in tight, but still, you need a save there. And then it's 4. You know it's over. It's going to be tough. If the officials continue to call it like they are, Vancouver is getting away because they're playing hard. I shouldn't say they're getting away with it. They're just to a man. To a man, they're playing harder defensively and physically than Edmonton are. And that wears you down.
That's when like shots on goal don't really matter.
Well, let's be honest.
You can be outplayed and still win 2-1, which is what the playoffs are all about.
Yes, but last night they got lucky. The shots were 42-16, and there were 4 posts.
But look at Boston was up 2-1. Shots were like 41-18 or something stupid at one point. Like they were all over Boston. You just have to have a good goalie.
Yeah, you do. But Vancouver was lucky last night. But it's again like Edmonton's. You just don't trust their goaltending, and you could tell. Skinner ain't starting next game. I'll tell you that much. He won't be back in the net. No, he won't be back. No, they'll go with Pickard. I'm
interested to find out then.
Book it. I'll tell you right now, he's not starting.
Okay. Before we move on to the Sens, let's just get to our Betway locks of the day since we're already in the playoff talk. One series could be over tonight. Betway, of course. Must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Bet your way with Betway, the official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League. Now, Yorkie, do you pick the Carolina Hurricanes or the New York Rangers?
Whoa. 3-1. Game is in New York. New York this season?
The odds are even. It used to be that I think Carolina was the favorite in this one at one point.
Yeah, that's been a great series, hasn't it? So even.
Carolina would like it to be a little different and be 2-2.
Well, it's all one goal. It's been pretty well all one goal, tight scoring games. But Carolina just, I again, to your point with the goaltending, I'm taking Shesterkin all day long over Freddie Anderson.
That's right. Carolina, I would think, could win that series if they had better goaltending.
Oh, 100%.
I don't care who starts for Carolina.
Shesterkin's a top 3 goalie in the league right now. If you look around, you got Swayman, you got Shesterkin. Like, to me, those are the 2 best goalies. Well, Ottinger to me is not at the same level as those 2 guys, at least not yet. I haven't seen enough of him in the playoffs, but consistently game in and game out, Shesterkin and Swayman are on a different level than everybody else.
That Bob guy's pretty good.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that, Bob. What about Bob? What am I? By the way, sleeper, good movie, Wally. I haven't.
Come
on, you haven't seen What About Bob?
No.
You would like that because another character. Well, hear me out here. Another character in the movie What About Bob reminds me a lot about you.
Is Steve Martin in that movie too?
It's Richard Dreyfuss. It's a very irritable, short-tempered, not a lot of patience Richard Dreyfuss. That is you. That's another Wally character.
I love Richard Dreyfuss.
Okay, I can tell you, you will like this movie. It's very odd, dark humor. Because Bill Murray, you like Bill Murray?
Yeah, Bill Murray's great. Love Stripes. Very underrated movie.
Yeah, Bill Murray is really good in What About Bob? It used to be, when you interview the players for what's your favorite color, or what do you eat for pregame? What's your favorite movie? And in the Anaheim Ducks program, Jason York, What About Bob? Now it's kind of dropped. It's kind of dropped to like probably top 5. Because Hall Pass has surpassed it. We already went over all the movies, but What About Bob? For anyone listening, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Wally's got a lot of homework, by the way.
Yeah,
you gotta watch Spaceballs too.
This segment brought to you by Gene Siskel. That's what I'm gonna make I'm gonna make you some kind of movie opening video now of you being a movie critic. By the way, nobody knows who Gene Siskel is in the chat probably either. And someone just Alfie's mullet just asked me, haven't seen What About Bob or Spaceballs. Wally, what did you even do early on in the 90s?
What did you do? This is a classic movie.
I worked.
It's the sign where you go baby steps here, baby steps over there. Oh God. I get, yeah. Did you watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Yeah, I think I've watched it all.
You think? You don't.
I can remember parts. I think I've watched it all. I do remember a lot of the movies. So I'll say yes.
Well, for people that are watching, listening, Wally reminds.
Right now.
No, come on. Listen, people want to hear little pop culture talk. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Here. Alfie's mullet. Yeah, exactly. What was this guy doing? What was Wally doing in the 90s?
Alfie's been blocked now.
No, I've just followed Alfie's mullet. Anyways, watch What About Bob before you watch Spaceballs, because you'll enjoy What About Bob more.
Okay, I just don't have time, Yorkie.
Well, quit driving all those spring hockey tournaments, and you'll have time. Like you're wasting your time with those.
We're done. He's he's just now working with Shelley Kettles, obviously, like all good hockey skaters do.
Yeah, and good decision there.
Yeah. Anyway, he's doing some workouts with Tony Greco. So we just agreed on where we're sending him next year or this fall, whatever.
Well, where's he going?
He's going to Rosse Netherwood Collegiate Prep School in New Brunswick. Going to the Maritimes, Yorkie.
There you go. There's a good decision. I didn't know they had a prep school out there. Nice.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, 100 years old. It's a great prep school.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to actually do some homework. So we'll see how this goes.
Is it?
But they play against Ridley. They play Stansted. They're in that group. So
New Brunswick. So how they get into Ridley College? Are they flying?
No, they bus.
Oh, how long's that?
Yeah, but last year he did 20-hour bus rides from Atlanta to Boston.
Oh, good. That's good.
So he's like,
the game, then.
He's like, it's 10 hours. That's good. 14, that's fine.
That's fine.
So he's
good for him.
Anyway, all right. Okay, let's Hey, Gavin, can we go back to the picks? We're just going to do the Dallas, Colorado quickly. So what are you taking? The Rangers or Carolina tonight?
Take the Rangers. I'll go on Shesterkin. I'll go on Shesterkin outplaying whoever starts for Carolina.
If you're into betting, I'm just saying, there is a Artemi Panarin and Nathan McKinnon to score a goal in tonight's games. Excuse me. Is at plus 350. I might be inclined to take that bet. They both score a goal. I think that'd be great. Yeah. So there are some great prop bets on there, just that you can combine the two different games and stuff. Anyway, just go to betway.ca and take a look. Okay. So Colorado. I think Dallas wins tonight.
Yeah. Well,
I think Dallas is not. I think they're underrated how good they are. They're full in that series.
Pete DeBoer has those guys playing tight hockey in their own zone. They don't give you a lot. Like they protect them on the ice. They all got great sticks, great angles in the neutral zone. If you look at both teams on paper, I like Colorado much better. I think Dallas has they've got some holes in their lineup. But like Ryan Suter, for example, the guy's 39, 40 years old, still playing, having to go out there and playing a lot. young Thomas Harley doesn't have a lot of experience. He's playing great back there on their blue line as well. Heiskanen. You mentioned guys that are severely underrated that nobody talks about. Heiskanen's one of the best players in the game. Somebody asked me last night, because everyone's ripping Austin Matthews right now, saying there's all these players in the game that you would take ahead of Matthews and his salary. And nobody ever talks about defensemen when you're building teams. Miro Heiskanen is a guy I would have, top 10 guys if I'm picking a hockey team right now.
So when the Sens were trading Erik Karlsson, I'm pretty sure that's the trade. And Dallas was in on it. They wanted Miro Heiskanen, like a very young, early on Miro Heiskanen.
No shit.
And those wrangly Dallas Stars wouldn't give him up. But
there's so many good young defensemen in the game right now that are young, but they have a lot of games played already. Like you watch that Boston series, you watch Charlie McAvoy play. That kid's a player. You watch Carlo play. I love watching McAvoy. Love watch. He does everything.
He's got a little meanness to him, right? Like that. I don't want to call him a rat, but like not a big kid, but wants to get in there and irritate the hell out of people.
What do they say? He's got the face everybody wants to punch. Big chubby. He got the chubby cheeks. Like he looks like he's out of shape, but he's ripped. I heard he's ripped, but he's got the big cheeks. Got some nuts in there. But I love him. Right shot D who can skate, move the puck, hit, offense. Like to me, that's the prototypical defenseman you want. Obviously, Kel McCarr is, but man, I love watching McAvoy play. There is lots of good players for sure. Currently, where do you put Morgan Riley? Of course, Morgan Riley has played 10 years, I think, for the Leafs or something. Where do I put Morgan? Where did that come from?
Well, I'm trying to think of guys I think of Morgan Riley similar to Charlie McAvoy.
No,
I'm just trying to go through the list of.
Riley's a lot older. Right, Riley's a lot older. I think Riley's a really good player. If you look at Boston, if you look at Toronto's defense, there's a huge drop off in skill and puck moving ability after you get past Riley. Like they changed their makeup to be tougher to play against, bring in some bigger bodies, which helped. But everybody knows that Toronto's just spent way too much money on 4 players.
We're moving on from the Leafs. Charlie McAvoy is 26, and
what's Riley?
Morgan Riley's 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Yorkie, let's take care of some business before I get into some Sens chatter, including the Belleville Sens, who saw their season unfortunately come to an end on Friday.
That's too bad.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. This show probably presented by Wendy's. Make sure you download the Wendy's app. It takes hard work and determination to bring home the cup. Luckily, all you need to bring home Wendy's rewards is just eat. Just download the Wendy's app, place your favorite order, and you'll be well on the road to victory. And by victory, we mean free food, obviously. And hey, while you're racking up rewards points and eating your way through the menu, you'll also find plenty of deals along the way to keep morale high. What are you waiting for? Download the Wendy's app today and start earning on every order. And by BEI, Bonashire Excavating Inc., helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. All your equipment rental needs, plus any aggregate topsoil sales, driveway repair, asphalt, all that stuff. Give them a call, 613-432-1120, or go to bonashireexcavating.com. All right. So Yorkie, first of all, Belleville. They were always in tough to beat Cleveland. Cleveland was tops in the division. It was going to be a struggle, but I think they had 2 games go to overtime, 1-goal games. It was pretty exciting. Lost in double overtime, I want to say. And Stephen Halliday, who we didn't talk a lot about, we talked about him last week on the show because he scored his first pro goal and then he got his second, I think, in the next game. He had, I think, 9 points in the last 6 games or something ridiculous. He is a big, rangy, smart player. I like him. I don't know where he's going to fit. I don't think that he's on the roster next season in Ottawa, just based on where they've got players. But I'm excited to see what he can do. And I don't tend to get really excited about guys who are in the A because sometimes it just takes a while. Sometimes they never develop. Or like, oh, but he had great junior numbers, whatever. That doesn't matter. I just think watching him, you can see he's a player.
6'4". I didn't know he was that big. I was
got great size.
Yeah, it seems there's a trend if you're looking, they're trying to get some bigger bodies. Because watch the playoffs right now, everyone's paying attention to watch the Boston Bruins. Why are the Boston Bruins? Why did they have success this year? Because you look at their roster, it's not really a lot of household names on that team. But look, if you dig deeper into their lineup, see the kid they brought up, Justin Brazeau. Do you know what size his feet are? He wears like a size 16 skate. He had to get his skates specially made. The only reason I know this is because he played in North Bay. Justin Brazeau played in North Bay with my buddy Justin Bruce's son Riley. Riley was the captain of North Bay, and I used to watch the OHL a ton because my son played there, and I remember watching Brazeau play at North Bay. Played as an overage. I'm like, this kid is phenomenal. He's 6'5". He wasn't the fleetest of foot, but he could get around the ice good, and his hands were incredible. He never got drafted. They went down the East Coast League, and then now all of a sudden he reappears in Boston in the playoffs, and you could make an argument that some nights he's Boston's most dangerous player. Like, I don't know if you've been watching that series. This kid, that's just the importance of being able to have a pro scouting staff that can look at other teams and find diamonds in the rough. And Brazeau, man, he's just going to get better and better. And then you look at that Trent Frederick kid, another big body. Yeah. Nobody talks about these guys during the regular season, but those are the types of guys. If I'm the Ottawa Senators, I'm trying to find players like that are big, skate, skill, edge. You'll hear this all the time. Compete level. It trumps so many things.
There needs to be some ornery people on that third, fourth line. Like Parker Kelly's one of them. Like, he's got no fear.
Yeah.
But love Parker Kelly. Like, I want Mark Kastelik to get angry with that size, right? Nobody should be able to move him around. But I understand if that's not who you are, it's not who you are. I get it. But boy, I just want some guys who are mean and miserable and big and put a little bit of fear into you to play against. There's no intimidation factor with the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, talking to some people this off season about Ottawa being an easy team to play against, not that hard. You don't want to have that reputation. And Ottawa, you go back to a couple of years ago, I remember they used to talk. You used to talk with the Ottawa, we're a tough team that nobody wants to play against. We make it a hard night against people. I just think they got away from that. And it's when we'll go back to it again. And I hate to beat on this. You're trying to become, well, they weren't trying to become, but they should have been trying to become a harder team to play against. But you don't become a harder team to play against by getting Alex DeBrincat and Tarasenko.
Right. And the first years of DJ Smith, everybody saw that was a team that was their calling card was miserable to play against, that they were going to play the right way and be in hard and really play. They were going to grind you down. That's what they were trying to be. And now they're nowhere near that.
And then they brought in Bailey. So when you bring in a free agent on a free agent tryout, I remember when Bailey came in for the tryout. He had a really good. It was 2 years ago, wasn't it? Well, 2 years ago he came in.
No, it was just this past training camp.
Yeah. So again, you bring in old guys to come in. Bailey's a skilled power play guy. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you trying to become a harder team to play against, or just get as many skill guys as you can and add them to the other skill guys you can, and all of a sudden you're not a hard team to play against? So that can almost guarantee you that's going to be addressed. It has to be addressed this summer. Watching the playoffs, Steve Stais is watching the playoffs. Dave Poulin, the scouting staff, the players. The guys aren't dumb, and they're going to. That would be something I think that they're going to comb through other teams, comb through the organization, and try and bring in guys with that type of pedigree. And listen, you can't just be a hard guy that's mean and nasty, and you don't have any skill. And that's the tough part, right? You got to try and find somebody with some components to their game that can come and actually help, but has that edge.
Ridley Gregg, I think is one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think
Needs
for
to get
sure he's
bigger
a
and stronger.
third line player to start this season.
Yeah.
I don't think he's set. And depending on what happens to Josh Norris, I know it all gets moved around, but I'm not sure that he's if you're a really good hockey team, Ridley Gregg is a third line player for you.
He needs to get bigger and stronger. And
Absolutely.
that'll be his assignment this summer.
But he's a miserable player. Like
Love
nobody
him.
wants to see him on the ice, right? Like,
No,
is he going to hit me?
level.
Is he going to do something right? He's going to irritate you at no end.
Yeah, and cause he's still a young guy. He's gonna get stronger. He's gonna get that quote unquote man strength eventually.
Yep.
Same with Pinto, still getting stronger, still getting faster. And that's what people forget about the Senators. Their most important position besides the goaltending position is center ice. Pinto, Gregg, Stützle, Norris, Kastelik. Norris is the oldest of the bunch, but he's lost a ton of man games due to injuries, so it's a very young group. Upside is high. I'm still intrigued to see if they bring in an older center though. Maybe plop Gregg over to the left. Put Gregg on the left side for now because he was good there.
Yep.
But you brought up Kastelik. We'll see what happens with him. It's just there's your big body. There's your big body
yes.
that could play that role we're talking about.
And he's great on face-offs. Like he has all of the
great attitude
you want. Yeah,
great attitude. Again, he's a guy that's had injuries too, right? He hasn't really played consistently because you got to get when you're in the NHL, you have to consistently keep playing. You get reps, you get used to it. You go through the loop of the league, and you kind of figure things out, and that takes a little while. I remember I started feeling like that, Wally, after I had played. Mind you, I played 3.5 years in the minors, which helped me immensely. And then I played a little bit with Detroit. Then I went to Anaheim. Still didn't feel great. A couple of years there. Come to Ottawa. First year I was okay. And then my second year in Ottawa, I started feeling really good. And you get that little bit of, you got to get that little bit of swagger in your game. And that it takes reps. Some guys like Sanderson that's just freakish because that normally doesn't happen. It takes guys a while to get used to the league, and then it clicks. It hasn't quite clicked yet for Kastelik, and the question is, will it click? This big training camp for him.
Yeah, and I can see like Travis Green going, okay, you got to play this way. I don't have time. Yep. Either you figure it out now, or we got to make changes.
He knows that. Players aren't dumb. Like I said, he's had some injuries, had some issues. It'll be a clean slate for guys. That's the nice thing about a new coach. New coach comes in. Look, I'll tell you, training camp will be. We already heard it's going to be tough, but a lot of guys, this is my opportunity. New coach. He has no preconceived notions about me. I can show him who I am.
So someone just brought up a name in the chat, and I hadn't given it much thought for today, but it is an interesting one since we're talking fourth line type players, even third line. Boris Kachuk.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", 206. Do you bring him back? Is he on your roster next season?
RFA, right? RFA, I believe. Yeah. You look good at times, and it's when you're playing that role of sometimes you're under 10 minutes, you got to make the most of your opportunities. There were times when I watched him. Okay, yeah, there's something there. He's finishing hits. He's around the puck, and then sometimes you don't notice him as much. Yeah, I didn't get a great read. The one thing I will say, if you're not a really big imposing body, then it's a real good thing if you've got really good speed. So you're not big, but you got really good speed, and you can get like a Matthew Joseph, for example. He's not a huge guy, but he's so fast. So he makes up for not being huge by getting it and disrupting. The one thing I just find I'd like a little more of Kachuk, I don't know about his foot speed to be that. Because that would be a one thing that I would look at. And again, I didn't get a great read on him, but he does play hard. He does play hard. It's just you get to the point. Are you a tweener? What are you? So
right.
I wouldn't.
Like he's got arbitration rights. His qualifying offer, according to Cap Friendly, is $813,000. Like he won't be expensive. I'm just curious if you could ever get him to a two-way deal. I don't know he would take one. Yeah, but he's an interesting guy for me. And maybe it's just you move on and you look for something different.
Yeah, no, I like I said, it's a really tough position when you're not getting any power play time. So you got to find a way to get on the score sheet and put your best foot forward. So yeah, well, I to be honest, I don't have a great read on him. He seems like when he was here, it was kind of a tweener.
Yes, just a fill gap. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he's not back, but I'm somewhat intrigued if he can figure it out.
Too. Me too.
Those are the guys that bounce around because they can't figure it out. Okay. Yeah. So I got a question for you because I need you to go back to your playing days. You've had a few coaches throughout your career. So lots being said about Travis Green in a full detail type oriented coach. I can remember Brian Murray. He wasn't that guy. He was not an X's and O's guy. He was all about motivating it. So I'm curious, maybe you can, maybe not. Can you explain to me what a detail-oriented type coach is and why they made the decision to go with Travis Green? Is that a fair question?
You want me to explain what a detailed-oriented coach is?
Well, so
that's Jacques. Hang Martin.
On. Oh yeah, fair enough.
He's the most detailed guy I ever played for. You want examples?
I want to know if you're in the room what that means compared to a guy who isn't. So that's what I'm trying to get at here. What are we going to see with Travis Green that's different? Because just saying you're a detail-oriented coach or that you like analytics or whatever doesn't mean anything if you can't explain it or show me.
Every coaching staff now in the NHL is extremely detailed because they all get to the rink at 7 a.m. and they leave at 5 p.m. and it's a contest to see who can stay the longest at the rink. And you go over everything because you want it. There's an old saying in coaching. It's better to be over prepared than under prepared. Oh, you could say that in anything in life. So these guys go through everything. Again, I'll say this again. You can be as detailed as you want as a coach, but if you don't instill that feeling in your players where they will go through a wall for you, where they know, I think Travis actually said this in his press conference. He said everything pretty well. He's about his coaching style, but of getting to, he said, this is what resonated with me. He said, I want to be the type of guy, I am the type of guy where the players will know that I am in it with them. And I always say this about one of the best coaches I ever had, who wasn't a detailed guy, was Barry Trotz. And he won a Stanley Cup, won a Jack Adams, because he would get you as a player to think and to know that Barry cared about you as a player. That's why Mike Babcock doesn't work anymore in the league, because players know he doesn't give a rat's ass about them. So it's eventually going to, the polish wears off a lot quicker. And that's the misconception with Torts, by the way. A lot of people think that Torts is just a taskmaster. He actually cares about his players. Yes. You talk to guys that played for him, they like him. He's just brutally honest, but he's fair. So I'd say, with Travis, yeah, everyone's detailed now. How detailed is he? We'll see. But that also comes with your staff, Wally. It's who,
they'll
and
be
that's
key.
That's what people aren't talking about right now. A good coach needs to surround himself with even better people. You look at really good teams. I'll take the New Jersey Devils, for example. Why did they take a step backwards this year? I said it from day one. They lost Andrew Burnett. He was their associate coach. He goes to Nashville. One team misses the playoffs. Nashville goes above expectations. I go back to when Barry Trotz was in Long Island. That team overachieved. Surrounded himself with a good defense coach. I'll throw this name out again. John Gruden, one of the best defense coaches out there in the NHL. You know who else is a good defense coach nobody ever talks about, Wally? Local guy, Brad Shaw. Torts' assistant in Philadelphia. But I think it's vital that Travis, because he'll probably get to pick one of his coach, whoever he brings in, and that's got to be a guy, because those guys help you with the details. Like watch a game, for example, when the players come over and they need a play at the end of the game, who's usually got the clipboard? It's usually the assistant coach who's running a quick play at the end of the game, because your assistant coaches are watching all kinds of video. They're breaking down plays. They've got relationships with the players. It didn't work here before in Ottawa because you had 3 head coaches. You had DJ, you had Jack Capuano, and you had Davis Payne. 3 guys that all wanted to be the head coach.
See, okay, hold on a sec. I disagree with that, because if you look at I want to say almost every roster, if not all of them, have a former head coach as an assistant coach on their roster, on their bench. I think that's just the way it is now. It's almost like if you don't have one, you're missing out on adding this kind of talent to your head coach, to your coaching staff. Like, I don't know that they were trying to take his job.
Look at the really. I didn't say they're trying to take his job, but I'll take an example of Vancouver right now. Vancouver they're a really good team. Their head coach is Rick Tocchet. They got Adam Foote on the bench. Adam Foote is one of the best defensemen that knows what it takes to win at this time of year. And you don't have to be an ex-player, but it sure as hell helps. and when Adam Foote's behind the bench talking to the defense, there's a lot of wisdom there. You look at
they have Sergei Gonchar also in the roster. Like, he's the defensive development coach.
So Dallas Stars, for example, Steve Spott. Everywhere Pete DeBoer goes, Steve Spott, his assistant coach, comes with him. Mm-hmm. Pete knows that Steve's not going to stab him in the back and try and take his job. So this is a guy he can trust, and he takes care of a lot of the X's and O's, and it's the value of a really good assistant coach that your head coach can trust and knows, and you're on the same page, is so important. It is so, I can just tell you as a defenseman, it's vital. That when I was in Detroit, one of the reasons Detroit won so much, they had Dave Lewis. Dave Lewis is one of the best defense coaches of that era for developing. He's one of the guys that developed Nicholas Lidstrom. When Lidstrom came in, it was Dave Lewis that worked after practice, knowledge. Dave played 1,000 games in the league. It's huge. I think your defense coach needs to have played in the NHL, but that's just me.
Fair enough. I don't argue that at all. But then again, like, Ken Hitchcock didn't play in the National Hockey League. He was a really good coach. Head coach.
Barry Trotz, same thing.
But Hitch was known as a defensive-minded coach.
Oh, Taskmaster too. Taskmaster. I just butchered Taskmaster.
I know it's a Monday morning, and this is probably gonna. Well, I'm just curious. What if Travis Green hired Sheldon Keefe on the bench?
Well, everybody would be happy after watching his heartfelt video from the lake.
Oh. Would your head explode?
How good was I wouldn't want Sheldon Keefe to be my D coach. Probably good. Then again, I don't know. I've never been in the dressing room with Sheldon Keefe. I've never played with him. I played against him. I tell you what, I hated playing against him, man. He was a rat. He's one of the reasons I got a bad shoulder. He got me with a cheap shot one night in Anaheim. I was dumping the puck in, and when you get to the red line, you know, when you slap it in, and as I was doing that mid windup, he ran me right from the boards from behind. I went shoulder first, and it was the beginning of shoulder problems for me. But hey, he was playing hard, doing what he had to do to stay in the league. So shit happens. It's the way it is. But yeah, he played on the edge. Very that era too. That era, Wally, there was a lot of rats in the league. Like you had the Matt Cooks, the Patrick Colettas,
so much shit.
Patrick Colettas,
Rue too.
So Keith to try and stay in the league tried to play that way, but yeah, I don't know. He's a head coach. He's not gonna. Well, then again, if he wants to get back in the league, he's probably gonna have to go back as an assistant somewhere. Yeah, if it was me and Ottawa was looking, if I'm a defenseman on the Ottawa Senators, I would like it if they brought in a guy that has some experience playing the position in the league, and I just think it helps. I really do. I'm
curious of who or how much say Travis has in hiring of his staff.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'll be interesting to me.
Yeah, I did hear though. Like I've heard a lot of good things about Jack Capuano. I heard a lot of good things. He's a great guy.
I know, but is it? But I think
deep.
it's time just to clean house, clear the slate, and start anew. Because if anything happens to this team, struggles at the beginning and is defensively poor, then the knives will be out, right?
Just got to win. The knives won't be out if this team gets off to a good start. Everybody be happy. Look at you already going negative.
I'm not negative. That's my point. Is I want to see a whole new. And people are asking about Alfie. I'm not sure Alfie's back on the bench. He might be. And when I say a whole new staff, Alfie's not part of that because he came in under Jacques. So I'm just talking about Capuano, and I know Davis Payne is gone and DJ Smith is. But I'm just anybody under that group. I just think should be gone.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's all.
Yeah, fresh start.
Like if Alfie's on the bench, that's fine. I don't know if that's the right choice. I have no idea. But
you're just of the mind you want clean sheets. You want to get into that bed, that fresh feeling.
Right. New GM, new president, new owner. Like, okay, it's your show now. Show me what you got and what you think you can do, and that's what I want to see from that group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It will be interesting because listening to the press conference, just Travis talking, saying that they're going to take their time, make sure they get the right people in here. So I'll be very interested to see what happens, how it shakes down with the staffs, because there's for sure some decisions that need to be made and some important ones. It's something you don't want to jump on too quickly, but you also want to make sure you don't maybe lose somebody that somebody else snatches up.
Well, again, another possibility. There's obviously lots of people out there. If we're talking about former head coaches, I'm interested to see how they construct the staff. I went back and I looked at Travis's staff. He didn't really have someone the whole way through. There's been changes. He had Manny Malhotra on his staff, which is an intriguing one to me.
Nolan Baumgartner, I saw on there. Yeah.
He was on there as well. I'm curious if any of those guys join him, but the staff to me is going to be key for this group.
It always is. That's what we're just talking about. Like these guys are with the players day in and day out, and they help mold the team with their ideas. Everyone's got a few little intricacies that are a little different on what they like to key on. So it's going to be interesting to say the least.
By the way, we still need to see who they're hiring in their scouting staff. That still hasn't been sorted out yet to me. So draft is coming. I'm just curious what's the date? The draft? June 20. It's the last weekend of June. Is June 26th? Somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
lots of defensemen I hear that you
June
potentially could take in the top 10. I haven't watched a lot of the prospects, but just hearing there might be a few good DE around that time. But
there's a kid. I've always tried to listen to his name to get it right, but Perek, I think it is. Great size. He is offensive, but I like him. He would be the guy for me, right-handed D. That would be the guy I would take at 7.
Right-handed D. OHL guy?
Why do I feel like he's in the dub? But yes, God, I should have had this out already. Zane. And someone's going to correct me before.
No, I think he's an OHL guy.
Saginaw.
Little puck mover. Little puck mover. Offensive guy that runs your first power play. I actually watched this kid a little bit.
I thought he was bigger. 6 foot 178 according to Hockey DB.
No,
he had 96 points in 66 games.
Yeah, the book on him so far is he is extremely gifted offensively, good skater, controls the pace of a game. Not great defensively. I don't know. To me, Sanderson's your offensive guy for the next 10 to 12 years. If I'm if I'm looking at a defenseman to pick, I'd like to get like a long guy that can skate, like a prototypical two-way defenseman. If I'm drafting, I don't know if I'd want to go for strictly an offensive guy, but they say it's never a bad idea to take the best available. But man, I just think that's something. If you look at the Senators, if you can find that big thoroughbred back there that can skate, defend, right shot, that'd be the guy I'd be targeting.
But you know what's interesting? Those players aren't sexy, and so fans and get upset.
Yeah.
Going, why did you take just this stay-at-home guy? But
I think Ottawa Senator fans are educated enough to know that that's what this team needs. I think it's be a little bit easier. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. We've been watching this team defend now for the last 6 years. I can't help. We've got a blue line. We've got a blue line laden with puck movers. Let's maybe get something a little different here.
Yes, I just want someone mean, and I've said it all along. I haven't changed my mind at all. I just want this D to be mean. I want Mark Borowiecki on the blue line.
So you think of it this way: if they draft this kid that's offensive, not that big, Eric Brandstrom is 1,000 times better than this kid is right now, and for this kid to get to Eric Brandstrom's level is going to take him 3 years. So why not just? No, I know, but that's just they've already got a little skilled guy. For now, it's watching the playoffs right now, Wally. It is so tough if you're an undersized defenseman in the league right now to defend. It's so tough. You have to be elite like a Quinn Hughes. His skating's off the charts. Or you can look at Sam Girard in Colorado, who's got the backhand spinorama mastered. You ever watched Girard play? It's like
I did. I watched him. I think he was at the Worlds with me one year. If I'm not mistaken. I think he averages 10 backhand spinoramas a game. I'm like, if I'm a forward, why do you keep falling for that? You know he's going to do it. He never spins the other way. It'll be interesting. The draft will be fun to watch. By the way, it's the 28th, 29th at the Sphere in Vegas, which would be cool. I think the last time they're going to do, they're going to do the draft in person, right? This is the last time they're going to cancel it.
Wally, here's a trivia because you know nothing about what's going on in music and entertainment. Which legendary band played their last concert there?
So you're not talking U2, who are like the resident?
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
They've been playing there since it opened. They're the resident for that place.
Know, but that's
the residency, I guess.
Hey, that didn't the Nashville Predators? They had a huge trip plan there. They were supposed to go there.
So they canceled it, and then they went on that run.
Yeah, they go. You guys are losing. You're playing like shit. No Sphere for you.
Yeah, Barry said enough of this.
Yeah, Barry laid that. He laid the hammer down. No Sphere for them. Yeah. Then they go make the playoffs. Tough love. Tough love.
That's like Vegas is. Everybody said Vegas would be the hardest place to play. It would be and the Vegas team would have the best home record in the National Hockey League because everybody is going out in Vegas and playing guilty.
A good buddy of mine here in Ottawa went to that big U2 concert, and somehow it's so funny. Somehow he got backstage. The person he was with knew U2, and he said he got backstage. He said everybody was at this concert, and this is one of the most obscure names of people you meet. He's backstage, sitting back, talking, having a conversation with Pierce Bronson. Pierce Bronson, of all guys, sitting at a U2 concert, said the nicest guy ever. Had some laughs. He said one of the funniest guys ever met. 007.
Really? He was a terrible 007. He was probably the worst.
Come on. Who's your
wait, one? No. Number one. Oh, boy,
Pierce
Daniel
Bronson was good. No.
Daniel Craig was good. No, there's a guy before him.
The guy with the dark hair. He was Roger
Roger Dalton.
His name? Is that his name?
Roger Dalton.
He was terrible.
Yeah, that might be it.
Number
I
one.
Apologize.
Roger Moore is the best 007 ever.
For sure.
A Spy Who Loved Me. Underwater car. He's the number one. Then probably Sean Connery, then Pierce.
Timothy Dalton.
Oh, yeah, he was yeah. The James Bond series took a little bit of a downturn during his era. Yeah, that wasn't good movie making.
So Daniel Craig though is really good, but it might just be recency bias. But Sean Connery in that accent, really.
Yeah, you had Connery with the great accent, and they said it. He had a rug. That wasn't that hairy chest of his was a little bit. They put some extra rug on that for him, but Connery's accent.
Yeah.
Roger Craig, probably the best guy of just being kind of cool.
But the movies are better, right? Like, so.
Yeah. And he was the toughest. He's the toughest James Bond. But Roger Moore, the best with the ladies. He was the best with the ladies.
It's yeah. And Mike Myers is one of my favorite Bond actors.
What?
I'm kidding. It's because of his Austin Powers movies.
Those were good.
See, I watched those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the best. In the 90s. He's the only actor that could never play himself. He's only good at playing a fictional character.
Okay. So Yorkie, on that note, people are going to just be tuning in just to get our movie reviews soon. We'll be back Thursday. I'm hoping to have a secret guest lined up. We'll see if that works.
Yeah. We're working on it.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.